Hello and welcome to the Parenting Tools podcast with me, Jason.
And me, Jordan. This is the podcast where Jason and I talk about the relentless beauty and the hilarious chaos
Smashed it.
of our lives.
It is relentless, isn't it?
Oh, so relentless. But it also is hilarious.
In a relentless kind of way.
In a beautiful, chaotic way. How you doing?
Mate.
Say no more.
I feel like this is one of those episodes where I'll apologise to the viewers. If I don't come across as a bundle of joy, it's because I'm not.
Isn't bundle of joy like refer to babies?
Possibly. Well,
if I don't come across as a newborn, I apologise.
I am cream crackered.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You can probably hear it in my voice. Well, I've got a very
rusk.
Yeah. A rasp.
Rasp.
Can sing some blues.
A rusk.
A rusk.
Oh, that's how tired I am.
Goodness me. We're off to a flyer. Tell you what I'm finding odd is that we did last week online, and then we recorded 2 episodes back to back in one day. So we've not done this in about 3 weeks.
Oh, it feels like a long time, doesn't it?
Also, it's suddenly winter.
It is winter.
It was nice, and now it's not.
It's summer, and now we're facing bonfire night.
Yeah, love bonfire night.
Yeah, that's the cusp of Christmas in our household.
The rusk of Christmas.
After bonfire night, Christmas has finally come.
Yeah, I love bonfire night. I've got a lot of good memories of bonfire night, and it's always freezing.
Yeah,
Suddenly gets cold.
always cold. Always get the sparklers out. They are still fun as an adult. But this sounds like a very
100%.
normal statement. They get less fun the older you get.
Sparklers. Once you've done one, you've done them all.
George, last weekend...
Oh, it all happened.
What happened?
Everything.
Everything did happen.
So we had a great weekend.
It was eventful, wasn't it?
It was. So we had a sleepover.
We did.
We had a family sleepover.
Family sleepover.
So we were on BBC Breakfast. Wait, that's overselling it. We were on BBC Radio Nottingham.
We're on the one show. Yeah. How did I miss that?
We were on the BBC Radio Nottingham breakfast show, and we had to be there quite early. And to throw a spanner in the mix, it was the Nottingham Marathon, so all the roads were closed.
Yeah.
So we had to leave especially early, and therefore, you, and little Noah stayed at my house.
All rocked up.
And we had a great time, didn't we?
It was really nice. Noah's still talking about it.
Really?
She
Bless her.
She loved it.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear
So
it.
she learned something at your house, which is now forever in her palette of things to do.
I'm worried.
So it's just simply lying on the floor and dragging yourself along with your hands, going, snake. So we call it snaking.
It's a Luca special, that.
It's brilliant.
He loved it. He loved having Noah come and stay.
It was chaotic though, wasn't it, as well?
Oh, it was mental. Throw in the late night KFC we had.
Oh, that was top 10 worst decisions to make at night time.
Yeah, a bucket with a side of Derek and Rodney's.
Just before we're about to go on the radio.
Here's
the story. So just before we were about to go live, we were on after the news at 8. And so at 7:58, Jordan went, "Can we go to the toilet?"
Whoa. You need to rewind about 7.5 minutes, I think.
So prior to this event, I went to the toilet just for a number one. And on the exit of number one, on the exit, as I was coming out the toilet, KFC came knocking. So I had to U-turn and go back and finish my business. Anyway, I had loads of time. I finished in plenty of time before we were about to go on the air. George gets up at 7:58 a.m.
For a number one.
And 30 seconds as well. Only 30 seconds past the minute.
And I did my business.
Time goes by, and then what do I hear? Our name's being announced on the radio, and Jordan is nowhere in sight.
KFC was knocking on my door. We made it though.
We made it in time.
We made it.
Good fun.
I had a great time.
It was good fun.
So cool to be in a radio studio. And
what I found fascinating is that, so the lady that was interviewing us, Frances, she was chatting to us, having a full conversation whilst still operating all the gadgets.
And having her breakfast.
And getting in porridge in between.
Yeah.
Seamless.
Really impressive. Really impressive. So that was fun. Obviously then, night before, you guys stayed over.
Yeah.
How was it? How was it for you?
The night wasn't too bad, actually. The night was quite good. Trying to convince Noah to go to sleep when there's loads of people about and she wants to play. That was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
We got to the point on the Sunday where we'd run out of warnings. We had nowhere to go. And I think she knew it. This is it now, final warning. She's like, well, what's next? Another warning? Yeah. So the night was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was the next day when she woke up, just wanted to play. And then we all came back to your house trying to get them down for a lunchtime nap. And it just wasn't happening.
That was a bad idea. Not as in it was a bad idea, but it was never going to happen.
It was, no.
But the night before, we were the same. So we thought Luca would be a bit of a challenge to go to sleep. And he's very much one of these, so he's 3, but he's very headstrong. And so this morning, for example, I said to him, it's getting cold now. You need to wear a vest to bed. He said, I don't want to wear a vest. I said, Daddy's got a vest. He went, well, I don't want one. And that's like an example of oh, that big boy's doing it over there. Well, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Wow.
So when I thought, I was going, right, Noah's going to bed now. I thought he'd be like, well, I don't want to. But he just went to bed.
I think they were just so shattered.
They were shattered.
They were full pelt playing, just jumping up and down constantly. I think by the time it came to bedtime, there's KO.
Flat out. But you made a reservation? An observation. Gosh, we are tired today. Dear me, you made an observation which I think is hilarious.
Really? That's great. You gonna share it with us?
So when you first entered the building, the premises, when you first came in, Lucas started to show Noah around. And you said, imagine if adults greeted each other like kids. And then we started to listen to them. And Lucas said, this is my special toilet. Yes. Now imagine if you were meeting someone for the first time and you just said, come into my house.
See my special toilet?
Yeah.
And he was like, do you want to use it? Shall I show you how?
Do you want to see my bedroom? Imagine that. Imagine the looks you'd get.
I love it how, one of the things I noticed as well, how kids make friends.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long into this scenario where Luca and Noah are like, Noah's like, Luca's my best friend.
Yeah.
Luca's like, Noah's my best friend. I'm sure that age, everyone's your best friend. But it's how quickly you make friends. Like, imagine doing that as an adult, just walking up to somebody. Do you want to be my best friend?
Do you want to see my toilet?
You would be pretty close.
Yeah. Do you want to be my best friend? Yeah. But they've seen each other before.
Yeah.
But never just on their own.
Yeah.
It's always been at parties.
Always been other kids around.
Always.
And I think it's because they're both quite good with communicating. And so they just got on really well.
It was good. It was good. No tears.
No?
Well, not from each other.
No
Final
tears.
warning tears.
And what was good is that we now have a little bit of ammunition. So Noah started nursery the next day. First time on her own.
It all went off.
And you sent through a little message from Luca. And that was our little, oh, look, Luca goes to nursery. She's like, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's another one. Adults, they go to work.
Yeah.
Jason goes to work. He works at his desk.
Good boy. Child or dog?
Child or dog. Well, the whole nap thing, I've got, not a beef, but toddlers do not know how easy they've got it. Yeah. They don't know how good they've got it. So, talking of speaking, like sitting at your desk, imagine if at 1 o'clock someone came up to you and went, it's nap time now. The last thing I'd be doing is crying.
I don't want to sleep.
I don't want to know. I'd just be like, yes, signed out, ready to go.
Out.
Yeah,
here we go.
Control S.
Wait a minute when I'm done.
Honestly, imagine that. That'd be the best. Or like someone telling you need to stay in your bed longer in the morning. I wouldn't be crying about it. I'd love it. They don't realise how good they've got it.
And then as adults, you just reminisce.
I'd love a nap. I'd love a nap now.
Should we make some space? Yeah. Get a pillow out. That could be the rest of the episode.
This week's episode is just nap time for parents.
Nap time.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit dangerous in the car.
It would.
Joel, we've had an email come in.
We do. So please bear with me because this is a funny one, but it is a long one, and I'm not very good at reading. And my phone is smashed to pieces. So it's really difficult to read. But this email came from Claire with the subject line of from strict parent to casual grandparent, not gradual. From strict parent to casual grandparent.
Oh, I'm already getting a sense of what this is. That's a good title.
It is a good title. So Claire says this: I have 2 sisters, and when we were growing up, our mum was so strict about eating sweets and treats. For years, we were only allowed sweets on 1 day a week, and even then it was a limited small number of sweets. She's got great punctuation, by the way. If we got given extra sweets, they were taken away and hidden. Brackets, not sure we ever saw them again. Fast forward 40 years. Little VHS joke there for the dads. Fast forward 40 years, and I now have 2 children, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. In August, we went on holiday, me, my husband, my 2 kids, my mum and dad, and my sisters. My kids like to get up early, no matter what. Deep joy. On holiday, we all shared a house for the week, and between my mum and my sisters, they all took turns at getting up early with the kids. Woohoo! However, one morning, I woke up to screaming children, screaming at each other, so loud downstairs that it woke me upstairs. It's not unusual for my kids to fight, but it was only 7:15. I ran downstairs wondering if one of them had hurt themselves. I told you I'm bad at reading. Cut that bit out. When I got into the lounge, remember, 7:15 a.m, I found my mum sitting on the sofa. My 4-year-old had eaten a refresher bar.
It's 7:15.
That's right. A long bar with sherbet inside. That is pure sugar.
At 7:15.
At 7:15. My 7-year-old bouncing around the room with a green tongue and lips, having just finished off a sour apple refresher bar. My mum looked slightly sheepish, and said, it's their holiday. Basically, my kids were already having a massive sugar rush, which I knew would only get worse as the sugar wore off. So I said to Mum, you did this, you can live with the consequences, and I went back to bed. It only took 4 hours for them to calm down after that. And my mum promised to give no more sweets at 7 a.m. for everyone's sake. Oh, the changing standards of grandparents. Love the podcast, thank you.
Oh, what a message. This is something which is so real. I hear it a lot actually from my wife, especially because she spends a lot of time with her nan, and she'll get treated very differently from the way that I've been told that she got brought up. One example, actually, when we were at Centre Parks, Noah was like building a tower or something, and we're trying to, after you build this tower, you've got to go to bed. And so she's building this tower. She was trying to stand on the table. I'm like, no, don't stand on the table. And then Nanny was like, oh, you can stand on the table. I'm like, no, she can't stand on the table. So, I thought she gets what she wants.
Casual bit of undermining.
It wasn't necessarily. It wasn't the end. It was just the wanting to give her everything that she wanted.
Yeah.
And it's like, as parents, you do want to give your kids everything, but restraint is there to help. And I think as a grandparent, you get that luxury, don't you? Of just going, I'll just do all of it. You can deal with the discipline.
Yeah. You can deal with a change of routine that just ruins everything.
And that's the thing, like giving food or sweets at the wrong time. Oh,
yeah.
Knocks hours out your routine.
Yeah. I think for us, it's TV. So we've said before, we're not fans of Peppa Pig. We don't like Peppa Pig. That's the second animal noise in this podcast so far. I'm all for it. And people have different things about Peppa Pig, don't they? About she could act a bit spoiled or whatever. I just find that the kids that watch it are addicted to it. So I thought, I'm going to swerve Peppa Pig. Go pick up my little boy from my mum's house. What's on? Peppa Pig. And it's just like, no Peppa Pig. Don't do it.
It's easy though. It's an easy way out though, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you look after kids, just stick pepper on.
Whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's the thing with grandparents, isn't it? Whatever you want.
And we've encountered this thing, and I think I mentioned it. Noah started watching it In the Night Garden, but she finds it scary. So, oh no, we can't watch In the Night Garden anymore. She find it scary, and then she goes, In the Night Garden's scary, but it's also good. Like, no, you find it scary. We're not going to watch it. And then she's like, but I want it. Like, you can see this thing going in her brain of, why can't I have that? I want it. And it's like, well, no. We are the rulers of this house.
Because it's well annoying.
Yeah.
That's why. So yeah, thank you, Claire. And if you want to send us your questions, your stories, please do. parentingtoolspod@gmail.com or
on TikTok, Instagram, @parentingtoolspod.
Yeah. Just so tired. So we've also had a question. Oh wait, before we go any further, I'm in a good mood. I'm shattered, but I'm in a good mood.
That's good.
I've just had a call as we were about to start the podcast. Just had a call from my sister-in-law saying that she's gotten engaged.
I hope that's public knowledge. It is now.
It is now. So I just want to say congratulations to Hannah and George.
And I was awkwardly in the background of that phone call.
Yep. I was the first person to find out.
And I was the second.
And you were the second. She called the family group chat and I answered first. So before her parents, before her sister, you found out.
Like a privileged position.
Well, there we go. The podcast comes with privileges.
So congratulations, Hannah and George. But George, we've had a question.
We have had a question.
We had a question from Andy. What has he said? It's right in front of me. That's how tired.
It's there on that big screen. I should have put a question mark on the end, to be fair. You can't identify it.
It looks more like a statement.
We've had a statement from Andy.
Andy said, how did you go about choosing your children's names?
This was, for me, the most stressful part of baby number one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's up there. So we didn't have the name ready. And we knew what we were having. We found out we were having a boy.
Okay, yeah.
And we just couldn't agree on a name. And my wife likes Italian names. I've got an Italian dad, got Italian family. People just don't say them right. And I could just imagine Giovanni. And I'm just like, they were just like great on me every time. So, and I don't like doing the accent.
What's the proper pronunciation?
Giovanni. But it's the accent. Like, I feel like I'm putting on an accent. Yeah. So like, I don't like Italian names.
That's a good point. When you copy someone's language, do you put the accent on?
But you've got to say it properly.
Otherwise you sound like an English tourist. Bonjour.
Yeah. Bonjour. But yeah, I just don't like... Yeah, I like Italian names. I just don't like how they are said.
So how did you end up with it? How did you find the common ground?
We flipped a coin.
Really?
So we were down to two names, and in the hospital we flipped a coin.
Wow.
And my name won. And
Nice.
the name was Franklin. And I like the name Franklin. And if anyone's listening with a baby Franklin, lovely name.
Yeah.
As we were leaving the hospital, and bear in mind my wife's just given birth.
Yeah.
Very emotional time. She's there weeping.
Oh no.
Because the coin flip went against her. So we're leaving with what was baby Franklin. And a cleaner stopped us. I said, oh, congratulations. What have you named him? I said, Franklin. She went, oh. So we were like, no, we're not going to go for Franklin. And I always like the name Lucas. Leanne liked Luca, but I've got a cousin Luca. So I was like, well, I've already got a cousin. Like, surely we can,
family.
We can think of the name. Like, we can come up with a different name. But she gave birth to him.
Yeah. So, good point.
So yeah, I thought, do you know what? You've got a bit of credit in the bank there.
How did you come up with the second name as well?
So his middle name is John, and my granddad was John, and he died 5 months before he was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said to it, he was like really, and that was, I think, the hardest thing about the whole pregnancy was that.
Wow.
And he was just in his hospital bed. He said, I really wanted to meet this baby, and that got me so bad. So yeah, we called him John after my granddad.
Oh, just to change the mood slightly, have you seen the baby name app, which is like baby name Tinder?
You swipe left or right.
So we started there. Em actually had Noah's name before we even thinking about kids. She's like, oh, really cool to call a girl Noah.
I have wanted to ask you about this.
So to give you a bit of backstory to it, it's not just like a quirky thing of giving a boy's name to a girl. In the Bible, obviously there's Noah in the ark. There's also another Noah, which is a girl. And so the story is back then women didn't have the same sort of inheritance rights as sons, firstborn or secondborn sons.
Yep.
And so if your father died and you had no sons, all of his land, instead of going to you, would go to his brother or in his family, like the next male.
Yep.
And so Noah and her sisters basically petitioned the then government at the time to change the law that women could inherit the land as well. So it was like a equal rights sort of fighting.
First feminist.
Like thousands of years ago. So that's where the name came from. And really, as soon as kind of Em told me that story, I was like, that sounds cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really cool. Happy with that. And like some people, there are girls that have Noah but N-O-A without the H. We just went for the classic way.
Go with it.
But the amount of people that, like, even at hospitals, you know, they've got the clipboard and they see that it's written her, but they assume it's an error.
Yeah.
So they go, oh, so how is he? Yeah, it's actually a girl.
Go you got. And what about middle names?
So Noah's middle name is, I had to think then, is Eva, which is my wife's name. So her initials for her name, but it's what her granddad used to call her.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's quite a
nice.
sentimental thing of like, kind of that reminder there, similar to yours, really, kind of honouring that sort of that past. And so yeah, for us it wasn't stressful. It would have been stressful if Noah had been born a boy.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have Noah for a boy. It wasn't like we just picked it and whatever she comes out, she gets it.
Yeah.
We did not have a boy's name. So yeah.
And the second time round, we didn't know what we were having. We didn't find out.
You left. See, this is interesting. You left it as a surprise.
Yeah.
For everyone involved.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just so fascinating.
Because I didn't want to find out. Leanne did want to find out. And so I think she's a very organised person, is my wife. I thought, for the good of her mental state, we need to find out. So I said, we'll find out, but second time, I wouldn't like to find out. So she said, yeah, game on.
Wow.
And then one day she went, do you like Mila for a girl? I said, yep, let's do it. And we did it.
Amazing.
It was so easy. After the stress of the first one, the only thing we have with that is we spell it M-I-L-A. And she often gets Mila. And that's just a burden we've put on her for the rest of her life.
Mila Kunis.
Yeah. Is it Mila or is it Mila?
Who knows?
Not a clue.
Calum.
Callum has set the record straight.
I love it. Slid into the DMs.
He did. And he said that it's Callum.
We did butcher it.
We did a bit.
Sorry, Callum.
I say we. It was all me. My fault. But Callum said, it's Callum, usual pronunciation, but my wife is really enjoying calling me Calum. So you're welcome.
That is brilliant.
Thank you, Andy, for your question.
So during this week, to go a little bit deeper, this was the first week of taking Noah to nursery and leaving her there by herself. So last week we did a little trial drop off. I was there the whole time. It was okay. A little bit emotional for her, but it's fine. This week was the game plan.
First day.
First proper day.
Did you do a picture by the door?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Who doesn't? Well, many people don't. But anyway, we got there, and again, they had only one parent could take her in, and so Em opted to take her in. And it was cold. I mentioned that because it's important.
Okay.
I expected like a 30-second drop-off, maybe a few minutes max, in the first day, a bit emotional. I was stood there for like 9 minutes.
Really?
In the cold.
Do you walk?
Yeah.
Ah, that's nice.
It's only around the corner from my house.
Okay, so is ours, but we drive.
But anyway, there was lots of tears on both ends. Noah, she got a bit, when she came home, she said she got a bit frightened.
Oh.
She didn't like being away from mummy and daddy. And we thought that was, do you know what, we can get through this. It wasn't that bad. The next day was worse.
Really?
As soon as she walked through the doors, she just started wailing.
Oh, no.
See, the first time, actually, she was doing like the silent crying, which is worse on an emotional level, but easier to ignore.
Oh, wow.
That sounds so bad.
It's true though.
No, that was like proper heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So when she's actually screaming, I'm like, this is progress. We've gone from silent crying to I'm just trying to shout.
She's expressing herself.
Yeah.
She's letting us know.
But what was worse is that, so we only did 2 half days.
Yeah.
So we picked her up at 12:30. And what was worse is that they'd said that Noah had been sad all day. She was playing happily, but then she'd go back to cuddle the workers because she was feeling sad. And so now, like, we've talked to her, she understands that she goes to nursery on Monday and Tuesdays, but she's still like quite sad about it every time we bring it up, and so it's emotional. I know there's a trivial thing that most parents just go through, but it is quite tough, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. We've never had that. We've never had screaming going in, so we've avoided it, and we're really quite pleased. We've still got a second child to go, so you never know.
Yeah.
But I can't share your experience with that, I'm afraid.
Well, from people that I've spoken to, it's quite common where they'll just be sad for a period of time and then one day it will just click. And we're hoping that's the case. I mean, she's not in for long, but the likelihood is as we get busier, she'll have to go in for more days, and like as she gets ready for school, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But oh man, isn't nursery expensive?
Oh mate.
And I whispered that, hoping that they don't hear me, so they don't put the prices up.
Everything else is going up. Why not nursery? Yeah, it's insane how expensive it is, to the point where I feel like we should do something about it.
What are we going to do about it?
Not a clue.
Start Parental Pod Nursery.
We're calling upon the listeners. We're going to gather together and we're going to strike somehow. Honestly, I do think like something should be done. I just don't know what can or should be done. Well, I know what should be done. Lower the prices.
Present a mini budget.
Just coming out with a red lunchbox.
Little political reference for you there.
Yeah, little joke for our foreign listeners. But yeah, it's mad. And I work with a guy who was telling me that he spends over £1,000 a month on nursery fees.
Wow.
And he could pay double his mortgage.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
It's insane as well, because we were chatting actually earlier. It's necessary as well. It's not like we're just choosing to do it so we can just go have a jolly. It's like we do it because that's literally the only way we can live.
Yep.
It's the only way we can afford to keep going. It's like nursery for us really was like the last resort of we actually just can't do this any other way.
Yeah.
And so for it to be so expensive as well, it's like, but what can you do? Wait till they're school and then it's free.
Yeah. That's it. I'm going to be so rich. When they turn 4 and they go to school, bring on the holidays. It's so much money. It's so expensive. It's mad. And I don't know. And I'm really blessed to be in a good job, and my wife is too. I honestly don't know how people that work part-time, live on their own, hourly paid, minimum wage, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, it's mad.
And it's a real eye-opener. And my wife is a primary school teacher, and she works at a school called, I'm not going to tell you, but I hope I'm in the car when she listens to this to see her reaction. But she works in a school, and recently she said that one of her pupils, was talking about what they want to do in the future, and they said they want to be a YouTuber because YouTubers earn good money and they can help out their mum and dad.
Wow.
But they've only got 2 subscribers on their channel, and like my wife was heartbroken. She started to like cry about how this little boy, who's, I don't know what year she's teaching this year, I can't remember, probably between 7 and 10, is already thinking, I need to support my parents.
Wow.
Because life is mentally expensive. And it's insane.
It is really insane. And especially like when you see all this about food banks and all that sort of stuff. And obviously we're heading into an economically difficult time.
Yeah.
This is the difficult days ahead, realistically. And like, I work for a church as well, and so like there's lots of food banks and stuff that go on, and they help so much.
Yeah.
But even in that, the food banks have now stretched to people who you wouldn't expect, where both parents are working full time and they literally still can't afford to do proper meals for kids, for their family. And it is madness, especially even in like in England, when we expect actually, you know, the cost of living and all that sort of stuff, should be able to live a relatively stress-free sort of life.
Yeah.
But it's mad.
Yeah.
A massive hats off to anyone who volunteers, food banks, all that sort of stuff. Where we used to live, there used to be uniform banks. And so, because school uniforms are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And so what they used to do is it would be all brand new uniforms, but it was all donated. And so you could pay like 20p and get a full uniform, just because it's just so extortionate. So hats off to anyone who runs those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Massively helpful.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a Parenting Tools food bank drop.
That's a great shout.
So I'm calling on the listeners.
There we go.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Calling on the listeners. Send us an image of you dropping something at a local food bank, and we'll share that in the future.
That's amazing.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Smashing. Thank you, everybody. I've got a daddy issue.
Come on. Change gears.
And it's not something that I've encountered yet.
Oh.
But it's something that I'm worried about.
Oh, okay.
In the future.
Yeah.
So we're 90s kids, right?
Yeah, I'd take that.
I grew up, and I believe that we grew up in the best time.
Hey Arnold.
Yep.
Arthur, the original.
Yep. Just jump straight into TV programs.
It just defines my era. Busted. Come on.
But I'm thinking technology.
Yeah.
We've straddled.
3310.
Yeah. Yeah. We've straddled growing up without it.
Yeah.
And having it.
The period of dial-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't use the phone and the internet at the same time.
Completely segregates an audience, that one nowadays.
NTL World.
Yeah. I am.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we had all this.
MSN Messenger. Oh, wow.
Glory days. But we also, a few summers before that, our bedtime was when it's dark. Or when the street lights come on.
Yeah.
And you just go out and you just go do whatever. I remember we used to spend summers, me and my mates, cycling up and down the canal route.
Nice.
But I wasn't allowed to go near the main road because it's too dangerous. Happy to be near the canal.
Near the canal.
And near the local weir, but nowhere near the main road. But this is my daddy issue.
Yeah.
We grew up with landlines.
Yeah.
Phones, for the younger listeners, that were plugged into the wall. You couldn't move.
I love that you had to explain that. That's brilliant.
If you wanted to make a call, you'd have to go to a phone that was at a fixed point in your house.
Connected by wires.
And dial a number. If you wanted to call a girl, you'd have to
call her home phone.
You have to call her home phone and risk parents picking up.
Yep.
Tuesday at 7:00. That's your win. You've got to be at the phone to answer the phone. And then you run the risk of, if you've got another phone in the house, your older sibling picking up and listening to your conversation.
Yes, I remember that. Eavesdrop.
I can hear breathing. Are you on the phone? But I was always aware of what to do in an emergency.
Okay.
You pick up the phone, you dial 999, and then you tell someone what's wrong, what's happened. And I remember my mum telling me, there's a fire and you can't find us, 999, you tell them there's a fire. That's 2 steps.
Yeah.
Now, if there's an emergency and my little boy, say I knock myself out.
Oh, mate.
And that is something once that my mum said to me, I think I remember her saying, if you can't wake me up, phone 999.
Wow.
And you hear stories of kids that have called 999 saying that mummy's not moving, or I think I heard one about she was giving birth and the kid phoned for the ambulance. Now, where's the phone?
In your pocket.
In your pocket or on charge.
Oh, wow.
And then when they get to the phone, face recognition.
Yeah. Or most kids are quite good at learning your password fairly early on, aren't they?
I don't know.
No, I can't do mine, but
Luca can't do mine.
There goes that comment.
There you go. So there's how many steps? So you say, right.
Do you have a solution to this? Because this is quite panicking.
I'm calling it out there. I want an entrepreneur to get on this. So it's, you press the button, you swipe up.
Oh, there is an emergency button on your phone.
There is one. I don't know how to work it.
There you go.
So I can't teach it to my little boy. And then I'll say, a set of numbers has popped up. They're not the numbers you want. So you type in the passcode, then you press emergency, or you just press emergency. It's not as simple as pick up the landline and dial 999.
No, it's not, but I think it is as simple now as holding the off button on your phone if you've got an iPhone.
For how long?
Oh no, that's not worked.
Time's ticking.
Let's try. It's got Siri on the go.
Carbon monoxide is building
there we go.
There we go. But how long did that take?
A long time.
And if you can't find the phone,
there we go.
There you go.
That's a 2-button combination, and my 2-year-old's not going to know that.
No.
I'm going to have to get a landline installed.
We're going to have to do
Do people even sell them anymore?
eBay.
We've got one of those old vintage ones that we got for our wedding. You know, with a little fancy little...
Yeah. My mum's got one of them.
Yeah, never used it though.
They were a pain to phone 999.
It's just for display.
But yeah, so that's what, honestly, I've been thinking recently. My phone is either in my pocket or it's on charge somewhere. My wife is constantly losing her phone. I think she'll ask me at least once daily.
We need like a child-friendly emergency services solution.
Yeah.
Assuming that people don't have landlines in the houses anymore. We don't. The only reason that we would pay for it is to have Sky. You have to pay like a little home phone subscription.
And they still ask, don't they, on all the forms, home phone? No.
Yeah.
No one's got one.
No anymore.
But no, that's something that, I don't know what made me think of it the other day, but I just thought, if something happens to me, like I've said before, I work in my loft. Often will leave my phone up there.
Done.
If I fall and crack a skull, well, my only skull, I've not got more than one, but I'm going to be ruined. So yeah, we need a child-friendly emergency services solution that is no more than 2 steps of pick it up, press 999.
I'm surely there's got to be a way
gotta
that
be.
exists. We just don't know about it.
Someone, please help my future
Let
self.
us know, please.
Or just don't have any accidents between now and like Noah being 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think that's the main plan.
Yeah.
If not, this is going to haunt me though now forever.
Stay safe.
Until I find a solution.
Yeah.
So, Joe, one of the things that we talked about I think the other week we were chatting about work-life balance or something like that, and I think you mentioned, you know, if you're not able to give your best at anything, or when you haven't got that balance right, you can get run down. You can't give your best to being a parent. You can't give your best to being at work.
Just don't feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Talking about that from a slightly different angle today, of just being like tired and run down and like just not being able to be, sounds so cliche, your best self.
Yeah.
You're just not able to be completely on it. Like no one is getting anything good out of you at all just because there's no sleep being had.
I'm very much there. I am there. I'm feeling ridiculously run down. And it's not because of my kids, it's just because of life.
Yeah.
Now my kids are a big part of my life. And I mentioned last week, our little boy's not sleeping through. He just keeps waking up at like 5 something. And it's an accumulation that has taken its toll and led me to this place today of just being shattered. And I was having a coffee this morning, staring off into the distance, not looking at anything, just thinking, no one is getting anything good out of me anytime soon.
Do you know, honestly, I was there earlier this week. Early today. Literally just caught myself just staring into space for a few minutes, I was just giving everything in my body just a bit of a break.
Just monging.
Virgin. But it's so like Noah's not been sleeping well at all as well, and maybe it's something to do with the changing of the seasons as well, of like going into winter.
Full moon.
Full moon. But like, you know, as you get to winter, people like get a little bit, what's it, seasonal effects?
I've
I've
never heard of this.
Have you not?
No.
So like there's a thing, I don't know much about it, so I'm not going to try and educate you, but it's called SAD, and it's essentially kind of a mental health thing to do with like the seasons and the weather. And so when it's darker and more miserable, so are like our attitudes.
Well, that makes sense.
Oh, it makes complete sense. And maybe it's something to do with that, also mixed in with just the no sleep.
Yeah.
But it is so horrible as well, because you feel yourself not being able to give your best. And that's gutting, like as a parent, as you're trying to be the best parent you can, and you're just so tired.
Yeah. I'm finding that whatever I've got left in the tank goes on my kids.
Yeah.
Like I am very conscious of just giving them my best.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit down to do work and think, there's just nothing here.
Wow.
There's nothing left. Just kind of one of those things where you load up something, say you load up your emails, and then you're just thinking 5 minutes later, what was I doing?
Or you're speaking on a podcast and it takes you 10 minutes to get out an idea.
Yeah, we threw the podcast in the mix as well.
Crazy.
It's all good though. I love it. So yeah, that's me at the minute. I'm just feeling super, like mentally and physically exhausted. And then in social settings, I'm going to a wedding on Saturday. I can't wait. But part of my mind is thinking, you're just going to be shattered.
That's funny because, last week when we had Dan on the podcast and we asked, how have you coped with the sleep? He said, I just go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
Literally, for the last 2 nights, I've been in bed at 8:30. And like, it's better than it. It's helping.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like the only way to actually kind of tackle this for the foreseeable future. I'm just going to bed really early. So
since talking to Dan, I said that to my wife. I said, he goes to bed really early. She said, right, that's what we'll do. So we're aiming to get to bed at like 9:30. Last 2 nights, baby's woken up at like 9:30, 10. So it's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You can't win. But I will say this. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for the world. I was looking at my kids today, took them to nursery, and we walked in, and you walk past this little duck pond to get there.
Yeah.
And my little girls, can't say many words, just went, hiya, and started waving at the ducks. And then my little boy, I said, who should I take in first? He said, I'll go. And then he walked in, took his bag, he's waving, he's saying, bye. And I just thought, I was shattered. I just thought, this is worth it. You're just completely worth it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Flip side, I got home and I was like, oh my goodness, I am shattered.
I think though, like one of the things, it's just like, we need to take it a little bit easier on ourselves. Like, I don't think we're always doing as bad as we think. And like, especially when you're feeling run down, it's really easy to think, I'm not doing a good job, I'm not giving my best.
Yeah.
Like, kids just happy you're there. And like, just happy you're participating. And so maybe someone needs to just give a little bit of grace to yourself.
Yeah.
Give a little space. And especially for your spouse as well. Like, I have been a little rat. Been so ratty. Just because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But it's just that thing. I literally woke up this morning. I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
And it's just that little bit of space and just that understanding of it's fine. So we'll get back to normal soon.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I lost my temper last week quite badly.
Oh, no.
And my dad came round within minutes and he was like, everything all right? I was like, oh. He was just he didn't think that something was wrong. He was just asking me. He walked in, asked if everything was all right. I was like, Dad, I've let myself down. I've really just lost it, and I'm not happy with myself. And he went, it's fine. We've all done it. He was talking about. He gave me an example of an incident with him and my mum, and he says, we've all done it. We've all been there, and you do things when you're tired that aren't your best, but it's fine. Like we've all done it, and you're gonna make mistakes. I think for me, I'm in this little I'm shattered bubble. I'm feeling sorry for myself, but I'm 3 years into parenting, and I know it's a phase. I know this will last maybe a week or two, although it's lasted longer than previous phases. But I've spoken to first-time parents before that maybe don't know that it's a phase.
Like there's no end in sight,
and they think their life is now this.
Yeah,
but
it gets better.
It changes so
honestly,
quickly.
It gets so much better. And like that's the thing, when you've only got one and you've no experience of it before, it's so easy to think like this is life now.
Yeah.
And like it feels like we're stuck. But it does, like honestly, like Noah is 2 now. And every single week I'm like, it's getting better.
Yeah.
Like, every week I'm like, I don't understand how it is even better. Like, I'm enjoying it so much. How can she get better? And she does. And it's like, okay, just not stress out so much. Like, yes, I'm tired. Yes, I'm run down. But like you said, it will be over soon, I hope.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware that there are people that it's extended phases.
Oh, yeah.
Or like yourself, you've said a few times that you've not had good sleep for like 2 years. Like I've never been in that. I think 8 months was our longest stretch, which is long, but it's worse for some other people. So there's always that kind of perspective to put onto it. But it can be difficult, but also like the best thing.
I think it's the best as well of one thing that I've been thinking about this week on the back of the last episode was like my kids don't need to think I'm a superhero or like I'm a perfect dad. But what I hope that they see is that every time I do make a mistake, that I try.
Yeah.
And like I try to rectify it, and when I do make a mistake, try and like apologize and make the right choices.
Yeah.
And so don't have to be on it all the time, but just that thing of it's important just in life in general, and hopefully my kids will pick up on that.
Yeah.
That actually, if I do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, but I've still got to try and like not make up for it, but just kind of still crack on.
Yeah, learn from it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a not an argument, but you do bicker, don't you? And so our washing machine broke recently, and I said to my wife, washing machine's broken, do not open it, it's full of water. What'd she do? She opens it, and she quickly closed it, but some clothes got stuck in the door, so the water was now pouring out all over the kitchen floor. She says, get a towel. I get all the towels, throw them on the floor. She says, well, now we can't wash those, the washing machine's broken. I'm like, doesn't matter, let's just clean it. And like, it's kind of building. And then she says, we've got no way of washing them. I said, we wouldn't need them if you hadn't opened the door. And then, again, my mum and dad walk in, because my dad can fix washing machines, so I've called him round.
You just sense that the washing machine was broken.
I think
something must be afoot.
He just stands outside waiting for me to raise my voice and then walks in. And then, and so by this point, we've both said sorry for shouting to each other.
Yeah.
Just one of those stressful situations. Luca walks up to my mum.
Oh.
He goes, Nanny? She goes, yeah. He went, Mummy opened the door and Daddy got the towels and Mummy shouted. Then Daddy shouted, and then Mummy shouted, and then I cried, and then Daddy shouted. I was like, all right, mate.
Oh, no.
Airing our dirty laundry. Pardon the pun. But yeah, just reenacted, retold the entire story.
Oh, they keep you honest though, don't they, kids?
Yeah, and when your child is saying people are shouting and I'm crying, doesn't paint the full story. I'm like, hang on a second. We took you out of the kitchen because it was full of water and put you in a different room, and you cried because you wanted to play in the water. That is not because anybody was shouting.
He's got the vital bits of information there.
Yeah, like the Message Bible. Just takes the context out. One for the Christian listeners.
It's a great one.
Thank you.
A great reference.
So yeah, Daddy shouted, I cried, Mummy shouted.
I cried. That's brilliant.
But then it is that whole thing of, you have to explain to him that we moved you because there was water.
What I would like to know, probably one for the listeners, is that when you're in a slump of like want to sit in your own little misery, what do you do to get out of it? Like, what's your little pickup, your little thing? So, like, for example, tonight our plan is once Noah's asleep, just vegging on the sofa, get something on YouTube, get something on Netflix,
Snacks.
probably order a takeaway.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Em doesn't know that one yet.
Oh, Peter.
Pizza bread. Misreference there.
Yeah.
But that just having that space to go, look, nothing else is on. That's just time just to chill out and veg.
Yeah.
That'll reset me for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then if tomorrow's a bad night, I can't go two takeaways on the trot. So what do people do? What do you do? Is it like treat yourself to a little fancy little coffee?
How'd you get out of the funk?
Yeah.
A date night always helps.
Date night. So important.
Date night, really important. You can just sit there on your own, looking at pictures of your kids, talking about your kids.
I thought you had a date night with yourself then.
No.
Sit there on your own.
Crying into your chips. But no, like, even the other day, my wife, she had 2 Fridays where she had stuff planned. And she cancelled both times because she was just so tired.
Yeah.
And so run down. And she said, I just need to go to bed.
Got to do it.
But then probably the best thing for her is to go out.
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? You got to have self-care. And that works both ways. Sometimes you got to go out, sometimes you got to stay in.
And ultimately, it's your judgment call. And her judgment call was to not.
That is a top tool.
Top tool. You left me hanging.
I know. I mean, that's a perfect example of parenting. Like, sometimes it's the best and sometimes it's the worst. We've said that many times on the pod. But I wouldn't change it.
Wouldn't change it.
Do it again.
Yeah. Nope. I'm not doing it again.
You gonna get the snip? That's a question for another episode.
Opening question. Would you get the snip? Well, on that, I think it's time to snip this episode.
That's a very good transition there,
Thank you.
George.
Snip it in the bud. Oh, that was fun. Joe, I enjoyed that.
Feeling ready for bed.
So please do, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please do drop us a review and a rating. Appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and like the video.
And if you want to get in touch, please message us on Instagram or TikTok at Parenting Tools Pod, or you can email us at parentingtoolspod@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thanks for listening.
Lovely jubbly is what I was going to say. Oh, I'm tired.